The Jay Garvin Show. Home Mortgage Talk. Saturdays 8 a.m. and Sundays 10 a.m. on KRDO News Radio 105.5 FM and 1240 a.m. And now here's your host, Jay Garvins.
Good morning. I am Jay, and you're listening to The Jay Garvin Show here on KRDO News Radio. Home Mortgage Talk, your home mortgage Jedi. Good morning, Southern Colorado, but more importantly, good morning to you. I appreciate you listening. Bonnie, Jack, Dave, all of you, the number of individuals that have reached out from my show absolutely humbles me. I thank God I have a loving wife, Marlo, and my 2 children, because here on Saturday morning, that's what I do. I take your calls. And welcome. If you're listening from last week, you know the show was It's My House. Where did my equity go? Now, I want to say where the hell did my equity go, but the station will probably cut that out. But the bottom line is today it's My House. Where did my equity go? Part 2. When's it coming back? And this is a really exciting show because I'm going to go through housekeeping right away, but then get into discussion with my guest, Bill McAfee. Amazing individual. He would not say it himself, but he is the owner of Empire Title. So if you're a real estate agent listening, if you're a mortgage broker listening, if you're a professional that's doing a short sale listening, you just want to stay out in the parking lot, tune in here because only once a month, always the last Saturday of the month, we got Bill McAfee in here doing an economic update. He not only owns Empire Title, but he also owns Short Sale Solutions. So stop right there and listen. If you are involved in a short sale in any way, shape, or form, first of all, just start beating your damn head against the wall because it is the most ridiculous process in the world. But raise your hands and say hallelujah because we got a guy, Bill McAfee, that knows what the heck he's doing. He owns Short Sale Solutions. It is co-located right with Empire Title. He's done over, I think, 700 transactions. I'm going to introduce him right now. In fact, that's a great segue. And we're going to get right into an economic update. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what the heck's going on. Where did the equity go in your house? And when is it coming back? So with that, I'm going to introduce Bill McAfee. Bill, you want to say hi?
Hey, Jay. First of all, thanks for letting me on the show. It's a pleasure. And if you guys could see him jump around this studio, it's he's like the Energizer Bunny in here. And I guess if he's the Jedi, I'm more of Jabba the Hutt or probably Yoda. Looking for something.
No, yeah. So what we're going to do here real quick, Bill, I'm going to give the microphone over to you. We've got 10 or 12 minutes of unabated airtime here. He's going to go over some of the statistics and what he's going to do. And as he does this, if I break in and put it down to layman's terms, for you, the listener, this is what we're dealing with. What in the heck's happening in our housing market? In order to say when is our equity coming back, we got to find out statistically and back that up. We're not just talking out of our tailpipe here. We actually have some information. And, Bill, I'm just going to let you jump right into the cold water, introduce you personally to the listener. Bob, Jerry, Jane are looking to talk to you directly and just talk to the stats, and let's get rolling.
Again, thanks, Jay. You know, this is an interesting year because we really have 2 different markets. We have like the 200,000 or maybe the 250,000 below, and then the 3 to 5 is just vastly improving. Those number of sales are improving. Once you get above 6, we still have softness, and we have too much inventory in there, so I'm not expecting huge years in those. But I would say, and we're going to cover the stats here real quick, man, if you're in that 200 and below, or you're in that 250 below, with the way our interest rates are right now, and especially with the way our inventory levels are just dwindling down to virtually nothing, you got to get in this game because in that lower end, in the 200 below, I'm anticipating probably 2 to 3% appreciation throughout this year. So you want to, people are like sheep, they're like flocks, and they watch the national news, and then that's what they try to do, and that's how they try to make their offers. Watching the national news would be a huge disservice to yourself in our current market because you're going to miss the boat if you do.
Okay, so here I'm going to put into layman's terms. He's talking 250, 200 below, 350. So all you that are homeowners out there, what he's saying is houses that are $250,000 and below. If you're selling right now, the inventory is light. It's been a real soft market, but now is a time if you have to sell, give me a call. He's saying that there is less than 3 months inventory. If you're a buyer out there, he's saying $250,000 and below, you've already missed kind of the most aggressive pricing. So you definitely have to get in before summer months because just like gas goes up in price in the summer because all the petroleum companies know that you're traveling and it goes down in the winter, that's the same thing with supply and demand with houses. In the summer when everybody's moving, kids are out of school, military is PCSing, the demand for the house goes up, the price is going to go up, the inventory is going to go down. But if you're an investor, You want to make sure that you're out there buying now. If you're looking for a house yourself, 200 to 250 is the fastest area that is being attacked, and the inventory. Talk about that a little bit, Bill. The 200 to 250, you had what, 6-7 months of inventory in previous
quarters? I mean, it's amazing how far that's gone down. Even if I go back within 6 months, we were in the 2 to 250. We were over 6 months. We're at about 4.39 months on that 2 to 250 right now.
So right
6
now
would be normal.
There's only 4 months of inventory in this area, and I've told you this personally for months and months and months and months. What happens is by 2006, when people were buying, the game was over. And what we're seeing here now is you're listening here now with me, with Bill McAfee, the expert in this area. You also can tune in every single month on YouTube. We're going to explain how to do that. But staying in inventory here is the fact that where most of you are looking to purchase, you that have VA eligibility, you that have FHA first-time home buyer, stop right now. Just write down my number, 719-330-1457, 330-1457. Give me a call. I answer my calls personally. I don't delegate them out to a telemarketer or any of my staff, and we can walk you through the purchase process, especially if you've not used your VA eligibility ever. Now is the time. Interest rates are historically low. Purchases on government loans are going down as low as 3.75. But getting back to Bill, if you are an individual who has a house, it's upside down, you have to sell it. You've got options of foreclosure or a short sale, which means you're going to sell it for less than the mortgages are. Stop right now. Go to Colorado Springs HomeMortgageLoans.com. That's plural. Colorado Springs HomeMortgageLoans.com. Fill out the information on the right-hand side of the page. Say in the notes that you want to get information on short sale. Give me a call. I'm going to get you directly to Bill McAfee. But also call the 330-1457 if you are a seller and you got to get rid of your house and you go into the short sale process. Give me a call. Also, if you're an agent who does short sales, give me a call. Short Sale Solutions with Bill is taking all the headache out of the game. And don't turn the dial right now, because we're going to tell you what's happening with some crazy big banks like Bank of America. That's going to affect you a lot. But going back to the statistics and the inventory here, what do you got next for us, Bill?
Well, Jay, here's an amazing thing. 76% of the sales that are happening in our current market are happening below $250,000. Now, here's a stat that's kind of interesting. If I went back a year or two, that was about 78%. We're selling below $250,000. So one thing it is telling me is that 3 to 5 range is starting to pick back up. Okay. We're not seeing appreciation in that yet because you're still having a slide down effect. You know what was a 610 is now a 590. So you're having a slide down effect of that above. But the 3 to 5, we're starting to see more and more of those sale. If you're a buyer in those areas and you're in that 3 to 5, now is an absolutely perfect time to go be looking in that area because prices are still very good there. I don't know that we're going to see huge appreciation in that market there just yet because of supply, but it's amazing. And if you want a great home and you're in that, so if you're selling in that 250 and you're moving to a 300 or 350, it'd just be hard to find a better time when you couple interest rates with what's going on with the supply that's out there and demand. It's just amazing.
Okay, so again, you that have been listening, you know, and I don't pay Bill to say this stuff. You know, my wife and I, our story, sharing with you personally, I had houses 2004 to 2008. I knew that the bubble was going to burst somewhere. I didn't know when, but my wife and I sold everything. And as an owner of a financial company, I was renting. And this exact thing, Bill, I was sitting here 10 blocks from the Broadmoor, tried to buy the house that we were renting that appraised for $417. Go figure, the owners had $525,000 into the house. And exactly what Bill is talking about right now, as you were listening, is that Marlo and I got a house that appraised as much as $565 for $390 because the gettings are good and the inventory is huge. And I found someone who had to sell. It went through a foreclosure. Guys refurbished it turnkey. This couple couldn't even do a short sale. They just lost it all to foreclosure. And those are the inventories that are coming in. So 3 quick things. Number 1 is, Bill, you had mentioned this, and when we go into our next discussion, I want you to mention it, is that one, it is the absolute perfect time for you to buy an investment property because the rental market is absolutely screaming hot. There's less than a 3% vacancy. It is high. I mean, in Cheyenne Meadows, where rents used to be $900, they're up to $1,400. So there's so much profit because rates are 3.75. If you keep your existing house, turn it into a rental, and upgrade. But the bottom line is that the game is starting to get so red hot that if you don't get on the motorbike or the power boat soon, it's just going to be too hot and you're not going to catch it and it's going to be gone. You're going to be sitting at your table, banging your head against the wall, saying, I missed the game. And don't be that individual. So what do we got next here?
And Jay, just to add on to that, I mean, you being the Jedi, I'm telling you right now, you need to be in hyperdrive in the rental market. There's virtually no vacancies. And it's going to take, they're building a couple large multifamily units, but it's going to take a while to absorb that. So rates are incredibly low. You can buy them inexpensive. If you've ever thought about being a landlord in our market right now, you just wouldn't hardly find a better time. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I'll walk you through that, but what do you got next?
The next thing we got is the sales as a percentage of active listings. Here's the only thing, and this is supporting where we're saying the market's heating up. We're as the number of listings that are out there right now, we're selling about 17.74% of them on a monthly basis.
Okay.
Now, here's what's incredible. If we look over a 15-year run, 15% would be a norm.
Okay.
So we're about 2.74% above the norm. Now, the only reason I'm bringing and I know I bore you to tears with numbers, but the bottom line for buyers out there, what they need to know is this market is simply heating up. As a percentage, the buyers are buying more and more and more of what is out there, which is going to, again, take that inventory levels down, take the number of listings down, which is going to drive prices up. I'm saying it again, 2 to 3% appreciation. I'm predicting in that 200 and below this year. Possibly a squeeze to 250.
Crazy. Bill is an economist, and my head's going to explode because this information gets me so excited. Here it is in layman's terms. Summer starts in less than a month and a half. If you have any idea, any inkling at all that you want to purchase, if you haven't used your VA eligibility, if it's time for you to take that little tiny house and upgrade, if it's time for you for the first time to say, I'm not going to give my landlord this $700 anymore and go out and do an FHA, you've got to call me now. Because the inventories are getting slimmer and slimmer below 250. Summer is coming where you're going to have a lot more competition. So May is your last month to really beat it and get with an agent, get pre-qualified with me, and really take seriously the statistics that Bill is talking about. So what do we got here is the grand finale, my friend.
You know, the bottom line to it is our inventory across the entire MLS is basically 4.64 months. If I took it across, a normal would be 6. And again, that's supporting, I'm not just saying emotionally this is happening, but one thing I will say that's emotionally happening right now, I would say even across the United States, is buyers are coming back into the market. And I don't know that fundamentally our national and international economics have gotten better.
The water hole is drying up. We're in Africa, the big pool of inventory. Picture a lion, a gazelle, a giraffe all licking their paws, laying around because there's plenty of houses, there's plenty of water. It's Africa, you know, kumbaya. We're all happy together. But now the water hole is dwindling. It's getting tighter and tighter. And if you're a buyer, picture this analogy. Unless you're the lion on the ledge and you're the gazelle and you're not sure how you should get into your new home buyer and stuff like that, well, you got a lion that's not looking at the water anymore. The hole is starting to dwindle and he's starting to lick his paws looking at you, and you're starting to become dinner. And my point is into summer, it's going to become incredibly competitive, and the result of competition is the prices are going to go up, the inventory is going to go down, and your choices are going to be affected. So what's the last couple words here? In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to finish up. I'm going to take a break here straight ahead. We are going to give you the most important piece of information that Bill is going to have the entire radio show. And then I am going to go right into It's My House. Where'd my equity go? Part 2. When's my equity coming back? We're going to hit into that right after the break. I'm going to be hitting into some incredible information about Bank of America and how they're holding you. And also, if you've got an FHA loan and you're doing a streamline right now, you better tune in after the break, because I'm going to give you information that's going to save you thousands of dollars if you just wait and you're patient. You're listening to Jay Garvin's and the Jay Garvin Show, KRDO Radio.
The Jay Garvin Show. Home Mortgage Talk. Saturdays 8 a.m. and Sundays 10 a.m. on KRDO News Radio 105.5 FM and 1240 a.m. And now here's your host, Jay Garvins.
Okay, I am back. You're listening to Jay. This is the Jay Garvin Show. The whole first segment, we've been with Bill McAfee, the owner of Short Sale Solutions and also Empire Title. We've been finishing up some statistics, and really let's do one or two touches on inventory and then give them the big piece of information about short sale and some inside info that you have. Bill.
Gotcha. Not a problem. You know what, Jay? When it comes to short sales and foreclosures, we're hearing something called phantom inventory. We hear that all the time in the news and the press.
We sure are.
And one thing I want to tell you here in El Paso County, I've literally counted the properties that have gone back to the bank since 2008, and I've seen how many have been sold out. And the bottom line is the number of foreclosures are down 11% for this quarter compared this quarter to last quarter of
because
last
people
year.
are buying them.
Well, and the other thing that's happening is not as many people are going into foreclosure.
Okay, good.
I do agree in judicial foreclosure states, and you hear the robo signing. That's what you hear on the news and everything. I believe Las Vegas, California, Florida, Arizona, they have some issues. They have some inventory that people are going to come over. I don't see that here in El Paso County. Another big difference is we're a public trustee state, which we're one of the only ones. So we don't have the backlog that I believe that you're going to see in a lot of the other states. So I think foreclosures are down, and I think that's fantastic. The number of foreclosures is down, so we're moving in the right direction. The number of listings is down dramatically, so the number of properties are for sale, and we already know that consumer confidence or consumer boredom or whatever you're going to call it, people are coming back into the market, and that's even witnessed nationally by the new car sales. They're picking up like crazy. So we're seeing some consumer stuff back in.
As we finish up with Bill here, remember what he's saying about the foreclosure inventory is dwindling. He doesn't see a shadow inventory, what that means is that banks are keeping houses on the inventory and not putting them on the market, because as soon as they put them on the market, you have a lot of litigation paperwork. But most importantly is they got to put that bad debt publicly on the books then and account for it. And these big banks, Bank of America, whatever, they don't want to have that affect their quarterly or annual stock numbers. So with the final stats here and then the final statement on the short sales and what some of the big banks are doing to squelch us. What do you have here, Bill?
Well, you know what? And do you want me to bring the big one out with B of A right now, or do you want to hold
let's
that?
finish that right now. So,
gotcha.
If you are someone who is in a situation that you've got a house that you have to sell, you don't have equity in it, and you just can't bring yourself to go in a foreclosure, then you're stuck in a short sale situation. Give me a call personally. 330-1457. If you are in that situation, give me a call. Also, if you're listening and this stuff doesn't pertain to you and you've got an interest rate on an investment property that's higher than 5.75% and you've got reportable income, give me a call. If you've got a conventional loan that is at 5.5% or higher and you haven't refinanced it, by Lord, give me a call. If you've got a government loan, FHA or VA, and you're at 4.75 or above and you have not called me yet, pull over right now and call me at 330-1457. And absolutely, if you haven't used your VA eligibility, give me a call. But right now, what we're keying in on is short sale. I touched on it last week. People that have 80/20s that can't refinance, you're either stuck in the house, you're going to go to foreclosure, or you're going to do a short sale. So if you're an agent walking someone through a short sale process, give me a call. We'll get you hooked up with Bill. He's got the most successful company of its type in the city, Short Sale Solutions, and we'll walk you through the process. But it is crazy what you have to go through with these banks. Bill, explain what is Bank of America doing right now?
Well, this just rolled out in the last week or so, and what's happened is they've actually come out and said that the only ones that they're going to let in the computer system where you upload and work back and forth with them, called Equator, the only ones they're going to let in there is licensed real estate agents and licensed attorneys. Well, I have a company called Short Sale Solutions, which is a third-party vendor that helps the agents get these through. And frankly, I used to be like 6'4" and have hair, and I know that they can't see me. When you start working short sales, you'll understand what it means. I used to like people, since I still
not
do.
Anymore with short sale. No, I'm telling you, by the end of the week with Mortgage Man, I want to throw small puppies against concrete walls. It's crazy the amount of work, and I'm going to explain to you what FHA and short sales. I mean, it is incredible what the government expects an entrepreneur or a private landowner to go through, and explain here, what is Bank of America doing then, Bill?
And here's what they're doing right now is basically, in essence, if the real estate agent, a licensed real estate agent or a licensed attorney is the only one that can walk these through the system, in effect, what's happening is third-party vendors have been cut out. Now, the reason we've been so successful is because these are so complicated to get through and so time-consuming that we've helped a ton of consumers and the help of real estate agents get these done. Well, now, in effect, what's happening is that's not going to be possible anymore. So we're going to see how this plays out. A lot of times there may be other major banks that jump on this trend. If that does, what will likely happen is most third-party vendors will just leave the industry, which is going to put the whole short sale process on the back of the real estate agents, on the back of the attorneys to try to get them done.
Yeah,
so
and
we'll
good
see
luck.
How this rolls.
Good luck with that, because I'm going through a short sale process right now with Kevin Betts over at RE/MAX Advantage, and it's an absolute joke. I mean, it's like 4 months to get a response. Kevin and I are... Tom who is the guy buying this house? The guy, since he did the short sale contract submission, had went and bought a house in California. You know, it's crazy. People are out living their lives, and it takes forever to buy one of these things. And you get the equity in the long run. But also, if you're out there looking for a house, just give me a call. I'm going to hook you up with Donnie Corum, who in a week can find you the value and the deal of a house without going through the short sale process. He's up at Synergy. We're sending people to all different websites, but call me if you're looking to buy a house, because we'll help you buy a deal and not a house. Okay, so final words, my friend. What would you tell the individual out there, my listener, you that's on the radio right now, in your car, at your house, wherever you are? What's the last thing that you would say to an individual listening about what they should do? What's their call to action if you're mentoring or giving advice to the simple person that's on the sidelines and not in the game right now, Bill?
Gotcha. Are you talking for the short sale or for the investing side?
I'm just talking for individuals looking at houses.
Gotcha.
They're renters. They're owning their house. Just one final statement about the market, what your advice would be to the generic.
In the lower end market, I'm saying 250 and below for sure, 200 and below. We have a perfect storm here right now. If you miss out on this is going to be one of those times in history that I really believe in that lower end. You'll look back and say, wow, I wish I would have jumped in both feet.
And what's the perfect storm, Bill?
Incredibly low interest rates. In fact, they've edged up a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but still historically we're at bottom.
3.75 on a government loan, 4% on a conventional loan with no origination. So you got the lowest interest rates, Bill, that you've ever seen.
It's unbelievable. I mean, and then you couple that with where the prices are, because the bank-owned properties have driven the prices down, the oversupplies have driven the prices down. So we're seeing prices that we're seeing that are early 90s or late. I mean, it's amazing what we're seeing.
Yeah, even on Drudge Report, they said as a national average, all of the houses, regardless of the high-low, are at before the year 2000 levels. So you literally just have gained back 12 years. If you haven't got in the game, they're saying we're going to allow you to go into a time capsule and go all the way back to 2000 and buy these houses, and then it would take an idiot not to understand how fast these houses are going to appreciate in the next 7 to 15 years. So you got the lowest historical interest rates. You got an inventory that is actually lower priced than it's ever been.
Well, and then you couple that with the other thing is, go back 2 years ago and building permits were as low as they've been since 1965. Bottom line is, right now the builders can't keep up with the demand, even in that low end. We'll have builders in the low end this year that'll do 200 homes. And now you read in the national press, you'd never think that. It's amazing. Truly amazing.
Absolutely. Well, that's good. Bill, I appreciate you coming. Everybody, please mark it on your calendar, mentally mark it. The last Saturday of every month, we're going to have Bill in here talking statistics, or what a doing. And I'm going to pull this all into the show here as I finish up this segment. I'm going to continue to remind you, the whole show is, if you've got any situation where you got an 80-20 and you're upside down, give me a call, because if you have VA eligibility, we can help get you a loan. If you have to go through a process where you have to sell it, don't throw the towel in and say, I'm going to do a foreclosure. Give me a call. I can hook you up with Bill and do a short sale. And if you are an individual who right now is renting and you've never purchased, you heard it from Bill, third party, you constantly hear it from me, that it's a perfect storm to actually get in the game. Interest rates are historically low. Inventories are still watered down with value because of the foreclosures and everything, and the rental market is hot. So it doesn't matter when and how you're getting into the market, it's a good time. And talking about it's my house, where did my equity go? We're going to pull all of this in, because what Bill had talked about right now is that the lower end, the 200s to 250s, are really hot. The $250,000 houses or less. If you own one of those houses, your equity is starting to creep back. Paul Wegman, I know that you're a listener. I helped you and Nancy refinance 3 of these. He's 80 plus years old, and he's praying that a lot of this equity comes back. Well, raise your hand up and start to praise your Savior. Paul, because it's coming back. The values are coming back, and that's good for you. But for the buyer, that means you need to get in there right now. But I'm also telling you this. If you are a regular listener and you know this, that I've done 3 or more shows on demographics, and what this means is that the baby boomers are 78 million strong. They started to buy up everything like Pac-Man in the 80s, and through 2006, it was gobble, 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 everything they touched. The stock market, real estate, everything went up in value because it was supply and demand, because you got 78 million people buying it. I'm Gen X, 1964 to 81. We're the first generation in the history of our great country to be smaller than our predecessor, which means the generation before us is actually much bigger. Before that, the baby boomers, the great generation, was always bigger. And we've got a 30 million void of consumers, which means you got 75 million people selling their houses and only 45 million people buying them. But here's the good news. If you listen to this show, you know that I am like shouting from the mountaintop that the next generation, the echo boom, and you guys know who you are. You text all the time, you can't pull up your pants, and you have a difficult time looking at me in the face. Just when you grow up, you now just started to turn 30. 1981 plus 30 years. The next generation coming in. The generation that's going to give United States the biggest boom in the history of our world. It's going to make the baby boom generation look like a small increase, because there is 30 million more of you than me, where there was only 50 million more of the baby boomers than the great generation. And Bill's statistics states this exactly. I go through all the justification to say this. You guys are just turning 30. You're starting to buy houses. You're starting to eat up all of the lower inventory. And Bill said very clearly it's starting to creep in to the 250, the 290, the 300. Well, as you guys turn 35, then those middle range houses, and when the echo boom individuals born 1981 and after start turning 40, put on your flippin' seatbelt, because there's going to be 80 million consumers out there. And what Bill had stated earlier in the show is that these builders can't get the permits, develop the land, and get the houses built new that fast. So there's going to be another incredible boom in the value of real estate between like 2012 and 2015. So you have to buy now. If everybody's complaining, where's my retirement? Where's it going? I'm not a stock analyst. I can't tell you what to do in the market other than Google this: secular bear market. We're going to have a flat market all until supply and demand kicks in, until after 2012. Do the math and look that up. But in layman's terms, what I'm telling you to do is to get off of the sideline. Bill spent so much time eloquently sharing with us what's happening with the inventory. And now it's like, when is my equity coming back? Well, I just told you. Your equity in 200 to 250 range, the $250,000 houses and less, your equity is starting to come back right now. It's not going to actually hit momentum and pace until like 2017, 2016, but it's coming back. If you have a house that Bill and I didn't even touch on, that's between 300 and 500, it's now still the time to buy. You're not going to lose much value in that area if you are an owner. You do not want to sell that house right now. And if you've got a house that's $350,000 or less, you do not want to sell it right now. You want to convert it into a rental. Bill McAfee told us that the inventory is low enough at an individual level of people buying. And let me restate that. It's hard enough for people to buy right now, and that's why you've got foreclosures. It's hard for people to get approved and stuff. But also people have a fear factor, so they're renting. So the demand for rental is up. Take your existing house, turn it into a rental at the 3-4%. Refinance it first as an owned and occupied, sit in it for 6 months. At the end of the summer, turn it into a rental. Wait for the big summer flurry to go by, and then buy in the really less active months. Go get yourself a house that's 70, 60 cents on the dollar from someone like Donnie Corum, who's going to be number one, probably maybe number two buyer agent in the whole town. Get yourself a deal and build your retirement now, because these houses are not going to appreciate. But once they start to appreciate, you are going to see appreciation like we've not seen since the early 90s. And then lastly, if you're in a house that's $1 million or more, or even $600,000 or more, just sit and hold tight. If you are looking at a house in that area, negotiate, because you're going to get a deal. My wife and I got a house right in the Broadmoor, turnkey, $390,000 house. It appraised as high as $565,000, and it was turnkey. We got it for $125 a square foot, and a great agent, Sharon Leroy, right down the street on Pine Avenue. She's on Oak, is selling a house for $565,000 at $175 a square foot. So if you can buy a house in a neighborhood that's the absolute cheapest, you jump on it and you hold all the way. And here's the point. You're sitting here without me thinking, hey, it's my house. Where did my equity go? Well, where it went is supply and demand. Most of your peers are selling. People that are 65 years old or older, the baby boom generation is selling, and there's 75 million of them. And unless my generation, individuals born 1965 and after, are buying up 2, 3, 4 houses, there's never going to be enough of us. So we've got to wait for that next generation to come in and kick that supply and demand in the butt again and get it going. And here's a couple of things that I want to touch on here. Where's your equity going? Your equity right now is sitting on the sideline because we did go through a lot of inventory where people lost their houses, and it takes time for the banks to get these houses back on the market, get them back into condition. And it really is a great refurbishing process when you have a slow economy, because my wife and I took a house that was totally dilapidated. Entrepreneurs came in and fixed it up. They put it back on the market, brought money back into the economy, and now there's thousands of houses out here in El Paso County. Instead of houses falling to shambles like you see on the side roads of Mobile, Alabama, with trees growing through them, we're actually refurbishing the inventory and getting it set. But right after the break here, I'm going to go specifically into the FHA loan. If you're doing an FHA refinance right now, what's called a streamline, and your mortgage broker or banker hasn't put your loan on hold, if you've initiated it after the 1st of April and they haven't said, hey, we're waiting until the end of May or the beginning of June, the 9th of June specifically, you need to call me. But more importantly, you need to stay tuned after the break. I'm going to tell you specifically what's going to happen if you continue on with your mortgage banker or broker and what the consequences are. I'm going to tell you exactly how you can save thousands of dollars on a $100,000 loan. I am going to show you how to save at least $1,750 just for the one piece of information that I'm going to give you. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to Jay, the Jay Garvin Show on KRDO News Radio.
The Jay Garvin Show. Home Mortgage Talk. Saturdays 8 a.m. and Sundays 10 a.m. on KRDO News Radio 105.5 FM and 1240 a.m. And now here's your host, Jay Garvins.
Well, welcome back. I'm Jay. You're listening to the Jay Garvin Show here on KRDO News Radio. I appreciate you, and man, what a jam-packed first and second segment with Bill McAfee, owner of Short Sale Solutions. Remember, every single last Saturday of the month, fourth Saturday, remember to tune in with Jay, me, the Jay Garvin Show. Bill is going to be in giving economic updates, and he's independent. He does it on YouTube. He's the owner of Empire Title and Short Sale Solutions, and he is really an incredible philanthropist in the community and gives back, and I really appreciate him. So, Bill, I appreciate you. And I'm telling you right now, after our last segment, I said I was going to get into FHA. The title of today's show is It's My House, Where Did My Equity Go? Part 2. When's it coming back? When am I getting my equity back? Well, I'll tell you right now, first of all, the way that you can get your equity back is pay less money to the mortgage company. And that means if you're at 5.75 or above with a investment property, you want to give us a call. If you're more than 5.5% on a conventional loan, you absolutely want to give me a call. If you're more than 4.75 on a government loan, give me a call. Now, let me put some precursors on that. If you have absolutely no income, and your income is like minus 80 grand a year after taxes, I can't help you get over that hurdle. If you got a mobile home or a manufactured home, I am not your guy. You've got to call your local bank. And if you got a loan size that's 40, 50,000, it just is not going to work. You got to go to a local bank. So those are some of the precursors there. And if you fall in those cases where you've got 5.75 investment property or higher, 5.5 in a conventional loan that you're living in or higher, or a 4.75 with a government FHA or VA mortgage or higher, give me a call. 330-1457, 330-1457. You also can go on to Colorado Springs homemortgageloans.com and just fill out the information and forward it to me so I don't bother you on the weekend. I answer all my calls. I do not delegate them out. So whether you are looking for a interest rate reduction, whether you're looking to purchase and get your first VA eligibility started, if you're looking for your FHA purchase, if you're looking to upgrade where you've got an existing house, you're like, man, I don't have any equity left in the house at all, but I want to get into the market. Call me. I can teach you how to do that. Don't be afraid. We'll turn your existing house into an investment property at an extremely low rate, make a huge profit. If your mortgage is like $700 and you're charging $1,100 for rent, you get $400 a month, and then upgrade. Get a house that's like 60, 70 cents on the dollar that used to appraise for $280. You're going to get it for like $230. Upgrade your family and then just let your equity grow over the next 10 years. That's how you get your equity back. But if you're in the middle of a streamline right now with FHA, so listen, if you're in the middle of a FHA refinance right now, stop and listen to this. They changed the rules dramatically in the beginning of April. So if you're with a mortgage banker or broker and you're going through a refinance right now and you did not get your FHA case number before the beginning of April, then you want to stop. You want to call me. You want to fire them. And I'm telling you right now that you want to call me, because if you wait till after the 9th of June, your upfront mortgage insurance premium for your FHA Streamlined is going to go from 1.75% to 0.01%. So effectively, if you have a $100,000 loan, like I told you before the break, I will show you how to instantly save $1,700 for your family. And the point is this. If you are originating an FHA Streamlined right now, you are going to pay $1,750 upfront to HUD for your mortgage insurance premium just to get a better rate. If you wait until after the 9th of June, you are going to pay $10, 0.01%. So you got more than $1,700 savings. And realistically, there's no reason to talk to your mortgage banker or broker. Let's be serious. What is the only reason that they're bringing you through the process? I've had several clients state that they've asked their broker or banker the question, and they're like, hey, we can't do anything about it. It's a government fee. Bah, that's not right. They can say, you know what? It might not be immediate revenue in a refinance for me now, but we're going to delay you till after the 9th of June and save you all of this money and be patient and help you first and not worry about our paycheck. The only scare tactic that they can use against you at this point is that, oh, we don't know what interest rates are going to be in June, so we need to continue it on right now. That is a lie. I'm going to tell you right now, say you heard it here first, your interest rates in June are going to be just as fine as your interest rates now, because you know earlier this week, we've got a presidential election that's coming up. And I don't care if you're Mitt Romney on the Republican side or you're President Obama on the Democratic side. Neither one of those guys want to mess with the economy. Obama sure doesn't want to do it because he wants to make the economy look as strong as possible. So he's going to force to keep rates down. And Romney, what is he going to do? Create an economic nightmare between now and the end of the year? He's going to be villainized if he does that, and everybody knows he's going to be a home wrecker, or in this case, an economy wrecker. So here's a couple different things here, too. Let's get back into this. If you've got an FHA mortgage and you're going through a streamline right now and you don't have a case FHA case number that started before the beginning of April, you want to give me a call because you are in a dead end. If you have an 80-20 mortgage and you've got no equity, you're upside down, you bought your house between 2002, 3, 4, 2005, 2006, give me a call. We're going to see if you have any options to get out. There's not many options for individuals, but there are options for individuals that have not used their VA eligibility. So if you have VA eligibility you know you have not used, and you've got an 80-20 mortgage, and you have not refinanced it, and you're at some redunculous interest rate like 7 or 6% on the first and 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%, you give me a call. I don't care what your interest rate is. If you're in a variable mortgage, you need to pull over right now, literally, because you are driving a hand grenade that the pin has been pulled if you are in a variable loan. And I don't care if your rate is interest only at 2% or whether you're at 9%. If you are in a variable loan or a loan that balloons, which means it's called due, pull over right now. Call me, 330-1457. I don't even care if you call me and hang up. If I have your number, I'll call you back. If you're on the road, call me, because once this show is over, it's going to slip your mind. You're going to go back into your life. Before you know it, you're going to be dizzy and confused 4 years from now when inflationary hedges go up and you're going to be caught. And all of a sudden, you are going to adjust yourself into foreclosure, which means as your interest rate starts to adjust, right now you can change it. When inflationary hedges hit, you are in trouble. In trouble big time. So right after the break, I'm going to tell you exact ways that you can start now in getting the equity back in your house, getting the security back in your family, and take advantage of our current economic situation. You're listening to Jay Garvin's The Jay Garvin Show.
The Jay Garvin Show. Home Mortgage Talk. Saturdays 8 a.m. and Sundays 10 a.m. on KRDO News Radio 105.5 FM and 1240 a.m. And now here's your host, Jay Garvins.
We're back. I'm Jay. This is the Jay Garvin Show. I am your Southern Colorado home mortgage Jedi. If you did not listen to the first segment of this show, we have a rebroadcast. You're listening here this morning at 8 to 9 a.m. on Saturday. We also rebroadcast 10 to 11 on Sunday, the same stations, 1240, 105.5 FM, and internet streamed, krdo.com. You can download the app. I appreciate KRDO. I appreciate my producer, Dan Koshel, of the show, and the entire staff here. And I'm just letting you know that right now, the practical applications, what you can do right now is this. It's my house. Where did my equity go? Part 2. When's my equity coming back? When's it coming back? What you can do right now is, as your equity is flat, we can get your interest rate down. I don't care if you're 10 years into a 30-year mortgage. We'll flip you right over to a 15 and you'll gain. But here are some things. You better get on the same sheet of music with your spouse. I'm actually really ticked off. This week, I helped 3 or 4 really good individuals. I helped a couple by the name of Sharon and Rupert, and this couple was saving ridiculously like $400 or $500 a month for doing the transaction, but they couldn't get on the same sheet of music. I love you, Sharon. Rupert, I think you're a good guy, but you're confused. Because if you can't get on the same sheet of music with your spouse, don't call me. Don't put me in the middle. Here's a new rule for Colorado Springs Home Mortgage Loans. That's the company that I own. When you call and we go through a refinance, you and your spouse have to be on the same sheet of music. Because I am not going to argue and debate you guys through a refinance. Here's a newsflash. World to you. My mortgage is fine. My wife and I have a 3.75% mortgage. We're paying it down on a 15-year amortization. Hey, Scott Eskridge, my production manager, 3.875 on his house. Hey, Sean Marsh, another one of my mortgage brokers. He's fine. He's at 3.75. Our mortgage is fine. I want to help you. If you talk to me, every single person, there's hundreds of you now that have talked to me, you will see my sincerity. I'm not pulling the wool over your eyes. I'm not jacking around and telling people what they need to hear to just make a sale. I haven't taken 1 red cent out of my company the last quarter because I am on a mission. And that mission is to help you reset your future, reset the foundation for your family. And how do we do that? First of all, if you're not in the real estate market, get off your rusty dusty. Just take a baby step and start and get pre-qualified and see if you can just maybe possibly not be a renter anymore. Take a snag, take a bite out of the American dream and get off of the sideline. You got to make a call. I'll walk you through that. I tell people, our friendship begins at the closing. It doesn't end there. I don't care if it takes 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years to help you buy a house. If you want to buy a house, I'll help you. We had Lewis and Tommy, a military couple, private first class. His wife is expecting. Congratulations, Tommy. That came to me this week. He's got some jacked up things on his credit, but he's a good guy. And I asked him on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you want a house? 1 is you're just lying and you're trying to make conversation, and 10 is that you would be willing to set up a tent outside my office to get a house. He said, Jay, I'm a 10. I'm telling you here publicly, Lewis, before the end of the year, before your wife gives birth, if you do everything, I will do everything in my part to get you your house. Don't be afraid. I've got your back. But you have to make the first move. Second, that's how you get equity. You get in while the market is low. Well, newsflash, the market's low. Bill said today, rates are at an all-time low, historical low. They've never been lower. There's no information to show they've ever been lower. Plus, your inventory is still soft, which means your values are still down, which means you buy when the stock market is down. You buy when the real estate market and the values are down. You buy low, you sell high. Well, guess what? Newsflash. Ding, 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 ding. World to you. Values are low. It's time to get in. And inflationary hedges are going to happen. If you've got a variable loan or you're 5.75 or above on an investment property, 5.5 or above on a conventional loan, if you're 4.75 on a government FHA or VA loan, give me a call. That's how you get your mortgage rate fixed at a low rate, and we actually help you as you wait for the economy to recover. That's how you get your equity back. And equity is not going to come back by supply and demand until 2016 at the earliest, and you're not going to see things screaming again until 2021. Now, if you just wet yourself because you can't believe that you believe the national news that the economy's recovering this year, you're sadly mistaken. And I'm telling you right now, there's a couple other things. If you have questions about reverse mortgages, give me a call. I can give you the straight scoop on that. If you've got questions about short sales and how to get rid of your house, even though you're upside down, give me a call, 330-1457. If you have questions about bankruptcies and, oh my gosh, how do I do this? If it applies to me or not? How can I go through this process with integrity and try to recover for my family? How do I get these security measures and questions answered? You call me, 330-1457. But just as importantly, go to Colorado Springs HomeMortgageLoans.com. Colorado Springs HomeMortgageLoans.com. Just upload your question, and we can get back with one another at an even keel in time. And the last thing I'm going to share with you today, there's no doubt at all, probably the most important thing that I've shared with you all show is this. Right here is that United States of America news is not El Paso County. National news is not El Paso County. El Paso County, you hear, we do not have a shadow inventory of foreclosures, which means we don't have an inventory behind the inventory. As this inventory clears out, we are going to have economic recovery here in Colorado Springs, and you have to act now, because this time next year, the inventory is going to be gone, even though the interest rates are there. But 3 years from now, the rates are going to be gone, and the inventory is going to be gone, and you are going to hate yourself because you missed it. So call me now, 330-1457, Jay Garvins. I am your friend. Have a great week. Thanks for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great week. 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 Have a great week.